My name is Darlene D. Brown, and I'm originally from Crown Point, New Mexico. And I am a peacemaker liaison at one of the courts within the Navajo Nation. There's two ways you can use the peacemaking program. The first one is through the court. We get transfers or referrals from the court. And the other one is they can come in as a walk-in basis. And when they do that, they want to resolve their problems and they want to get everything straightened out, come to an agreement or something first before they, go on to the court. And when it gets to the court, and whether they plead guilty or not guilty, the judge will look at the case, and then especially in the criminal and domestic violence type of situation, the judge will look at the case, and if she or he finds out that the problem or the incident that happened is related to the family within the family unit, the neighbors, the relatives, she'll put that case aside before she sentences them or does anything with the case. And then she'll tell the defendant or whoever's standing before her, she'll say, I'm going to go ahead and put this case aside, and then we're going to transfer over to peacemaking because I noticed there's a problem or something going on, and resolve your issues in peacemaking. So the court, and then with the prosecutor, they also are involved. So the case gets transferred to peacemaking. And just like anywhere else, the peacemaking, there is a fee that they have to pay, to utilize peacemaking. And that fee is paid to the peacemaker for their time, gas, or whatever. So once they come to the peacemaking, the defendants, the people, the families, they come in. And as a peacemaker liaison, we explain to them what peacemaking is. And there is some good parts with peacemaking. There's some differences. Like with the peacemaking program, they don't allow the judges, they don't allow attorneys, and they don't allow police officers into that session. It's just the defendant or the petitioner and the family that are allowed in there, to resolve their issues. And then also with the court, they're very limited to what they can say in the court. Like the only time they can speak up is when the judge addresses them or, they want some kind of answer. But with peacemaking, you are given the time and given the opportunity to, to express or to talk about everything that's going on or that's causing the problem. And these sessions do not take like 15, 30 minutes. Sometimes, like I said, they start like about 9 in the morning, and they can sit there all day in that room with no breaks or anything, maybe up to 4 or 5 o'clock until they resolve all their issues and they come to an agreement. When the sessions start, they usually open up with a prayer. Then after that, they do introduction. They go over some of the rules that they have in peacemaking.
Before we begin, I wanted to remind everybody that in this hearing, I want to ask you not to become verbally abusive at each other. If any one of you become hostile in any fashion, I'm going to stop the hearing.
And then the petitioner is usually the one that's given the floor first, and they'll let the people know what the problem is, what caused the incident, what's the disharmony, or what's happening.
Good afternoon, Peacemaker, Mr. Fergor, and members that have come here to the hearing. My reason for filing a petition or filing a complaint was to address the issues that I'm having in my household, and it's between my husband, Stephen, and I, and the homestead that we have at home. And my main concern is the money, because everything revolves around money. We have 2 kids, one is in high school and one is in mid school. And as time started, to begin with, I'm not working. I stay home all the time, take care of the kids, the home, and around the home, and do errands during the day, take care of my kids. And my husband, he works for the BIA, and he makes pretty good money. And at the beginning, he used to bring home his paycheck, and we used to, get everything paid for. We had
always had groceries. We always had nice clothes for the kids. And we met everything, financially, everything was met. But recently, I say within the 6 months, my husband, for some reason, started coming home late, and we started seeing less of the money, and come to find out that he's been taking his whole paycheck to the casino. And with them, we asked him, what do you want out of the hearing? How do you want to resolve it, or what do you want to take place? And then after he's done with his time and whatnot, then they'll go over to the victim, or whoever the other party is. Then they'll be asked, is this what really happened? So we hear both sides of the stories, not just one-sided. Everybody has a say-so, even just to, they contribute their teachings or whatever they have to offer to try to resolve the disharmony. And some of these hearings get very emotional, especially close to home, close to the heart.
My sister over here, I don't know why she's here. She already indicated she doesn't know what's going on, so I don't think she needs to be here. If I say a lot of things, she's going to go home and tell everybody else.
So by the end of the hearing, the parties are supposed to come up to an agreement, not the peacemaker. The peacemaker does not make the decision on what needs to be done. The parties that file and the parties that they file against, they have to come to an agreement and say, this is what I'm going to do on my part, to keep this from happening again, or to keep from coming back up again. So that's some of the agreement that they have to come up with. And after they do that, and then we put it in an agreement form and have them sign it. And then in cases for criminal charges, there's a statement on the bottom that our district puts in, is saying that I, John Doe, if I fail to do what's listed on these agreements, and then the agreement's going to be void, and then the criminal charges kick back in. But after the agreement's done, it's read back to them, and then one goes back to the prosecutor and one goes back to the court. And after that happens, the judge will look at the agreement, the prosecutor will look at the agreement, and if it's something that, that if they're okay with it, with what they agreed to, then that's how they do their sentencing and whatnot. So the peacemaker liaison pretty much helps the peacemakers. That's like the processes and the duties of the peacemaker liaisons.
I think you've demonstrated so well the respect, the mutual respect and caring that everybody demonstrates, and how you come back to that all the time, and reinforcing people that we're here to help. We're here to honor each other.
Yep, okay. Despite that, I just want to have Roger add from here, the closing of it, what would happen here.
Okay.
The initial situation would be he will eventually admit that he has a gambling problem. And then the harmony, you'll see it come back together. And the feelings of it is very powerful. And you will see the reconciliation take place. And then the treatment will take place.
I'm sorry for the time limit. The thing is, this type of a process, it just goes on and on. And depending on the number of people that are involved, family members or whatever, we get to all of them. We try to have everybody share as their, the kind of input that they have as being part of the family, or just having witnessed something that has to do with the family, to share it with the family, to give their input. And this is totally different from the court side. The court says you're guilty or you're not guilty. In that sense, when we talk about the peacemaking, we give everybody a chance to speak. Everybody says their part. And the feeling that goes into it usually resolves in a situation where the problem at hand comes out in the open. We put everything on the table right here. And people start to talk about it, and people, pretty soon it gets very emotional. And it gets very personal. A lot of times it does that. So when that happens, then they share, and then people begin to feel that the realization of, how they were related. And people, hug and shake hands. Sometimes they cry on each other's shoulders. And, that's how peace comes about. This is totally different from the court system. I just wanted to share that with you. And then, in the closing, what we do is we all come together and then be in the same circle, close it with a prayer. Just to stimulate the mind to where we say, the beauty of it, we have come together, we have solved an issue. And now that we can, without having to have the burden that we used to have when we came in, we leave without it, we leave it here. Like we were saying, the confidentiality of it stays within whatever place we have. It's either in the whole gun or where we have our peacemaking. We just leave it in there. Nobody talks about it from there on. That's how it goes there. I want to share that with you too.
And then give our presenters a great big round of applause.